Hello, welcome back. You joined me at quite an important part. So the last time I was heading towards the computer factory, which was literally just 3 constructors, or assemblers I think it was, generating AI controllers, and I was on my way to making an assembler like this, putting out these circuit boards. I've done a lot since then. This will all get torn down at some point, but right now I have so many screws. I've got rid of the truck that was coming backwards and forwards here. You can see that's just filled with screws, which feed into this storage container, which is also massively filled with screws. So I'm just burning them all. It doesn't really give me much, but you know, it kind of feeds towards the goal. Also, that crate there is filled with screws as well. So this is just a temporary manufacturer, which is still making computers when it can. And this over here is what I'm using to sort of manually feed in and make these circuit boards. It's using quite a lot of resources though. And I definitely need it automated because everything's using computers. So not only do I need it for the milestones, I also need it for the train stations. And I'm going to need quite a few train stations. Now, I've already put up a few new train stations and fiddle around with the train a little bit. So I'll kind of show you what I've done and kind of keep you up to date with progress. The issue is my train is away. Well, I guess I'll just have to wait. It is on a timetable, so I guess while I wait, I'll just keep manually feeding in these circuit boards. So hopefully the train doesn't get here before I have time to make 2 more computers, because I only need, what, 1 more? Right, there we go. So here comes the train. I don't think it stops at this one just yet. Oh, it does. Right, I'm going to turn off the self-driving for a moment. Okay, that didn't work out very well. So, as I was saying, circuit board, cable, plastic, and this is where we get the plastic from. And the other one's screws, which I've got plenty of. My train used to have 1 freight carriage. It now has 2. So the plan is, it picks up these copper sheetings and probably cables, and then it uses this one to pick up the plastic. And then when it gets to my computer factory stop, it unloads both into separate platforms. So I'm going to have to delete a lot of this. Hope I've got enough inventory space. I do. Which is a bit sad, but progress. So the plan here is, I can build a solid railway platform just here. Empty platform there, and a freight platform here. So I'll rename this. Jeez, I would not be able to pronounce that. Hertogenbusch. Nah. This will just be oil refinery. It's got no power going to it just yet, but it will once I add some tracks. I'm kind of close to that tree. Just misses it. Right. So when this stops here, this will load. Now all I have to do now is get the plastic running up into here. Well, that's not the only thing I have to do. I also have to get rid of some trees because they're in my way. Right, so I got plastic coming in here. How am I going to do this? Right, I'm going to have to get rid of this merger. So actually, I'm going to start going in reverse. Put conveyor merger there. That's fine. So that just goes in up through that wall. I'm going to put one of these conveyor lifts. And I'm just going to put it up to like there. And I'll put a hole in the wall, followed by conveyors. I think I should get away with dropping that into there. A bit of a spaghetti junction, but it keeps everything above the head. There we go. So everything should be fine. Right, so if I look at my train station now, the timetable, we have 4 train stations. So we start off at Dordrecht. I will rename these. So the oil refinery, we load up at the oil refinery. Then we go all the way to Dordrecht. We load up there. Then we go to Hamburg. And we unload there. I don't understand. Why can't I put it? So we go to Dordrecht. Then Hamburg. What's the issue? Well, I'm going to investigate this. So hopefully this goes to exactly where I need it to go. Right, as you can kind of see as I approach, I'm about to drive through my computer factory. This is all completely new. I haven't really, the last time I showed it on here it was just 3 assemblers, I think. And we'll just drive straight through it, because we will come back. This theoretically should be stopping here. There we go, the brakes are deployed. And this is where all my copper, my cable and my wire is made. Just up there, those 2 containers, that's the cable and the wire. Right, now on the way back, should stop here and unload everything. I know this looks a bit silly because everything's floating at the moment, but I kind of built that building from the top down instead of down up, which is the way you should do it. Because I'm pretty sure that breaks like the laws of physics. Right, so we'll jump off here. Now theoretically this should unload, and this should unload, but there's nothing on that right now, but that'll be plastic. Alright, so this is like the main atrium and train station area. It looks like it's not unloading because we already have too much. Yeah, it's full. And I'll show you where all of these go. So when the plastic comes up here, the plastic will fire up through these. We also have the copper. The copper shoots up through 2 of these, and they go into 2 separate floors. I'll show you the staircase. Now this is floor for the circuit boards. Now you can see all of the copper sheet is coming up. Now the one for this floor is this one, and that feeds in through there and then puts them all sort of, it distributes them in a more traditional sense that I've been using. However, I've still got the mechanism for splitting it 3 ways for the upstairs on this floor as well, and you see it coming in there. And then it goes into that splitter and puts it onto 3 separate conveyors. And I'll show you upstairs what that looks like. It keeps it kind of neater upstairs. Obviously I've got barriers here to prevent people from wandering. You get this beautiful view as well. All glass roofs. And we have a bunch of AI limiters here now. So if we look at the back, we can see these are the 3 conveyor systems coming from below where that splitter system was. And on the other sort of behind that, we've got the quick wire coming in, and that is coming from the new extended quick wire factory, which is just through here. So the ingots come from downstairs and they feed into of these constructors which make the quick wire, which then goes out and feeds through, and you can kind of see it all working from here. Yeah, so the power's supplied through there, quick wire through there, ingots from below up here, and if we go out this door here, we're back out to our old road system, which doesn't really get used anymore. So I may put a train on it at some point, and you'll see the train going past. Look, fully automated, running on electricity. That should unload some plastic. I'm going to put some in here as a test run. Now, when the train gets back, it should unload more plastic. I didn't actually notice if it had a second carriage on it. Okay, so both of these should get emptied. I think that's still full, so as that dropped in there, we should see plastic flowing through any minute. Yes, there we go. Circuit boards and AI limiters are now fully automated. So I'll need another manufacturer to make the computer parts. And that's going to take, well, I've got the resources, I just need some of those heavy modular frames, which I have. It's also something else I need to automate, but computers at the moment are the biggest priority. While I'm here, I'll also rename this to Copper Factory. So far, all going a lot better than I'd expected. So the plan actually was to have computers coming out here. Alright, so I'm back at the Copper Factory, and the reason being is to make computers I need cable and screws, which means I'm going to have to run a conveyor down to the train and fill it up with cable. Now the problem I have is this is filling up quite rapidly. There we go. We've got copper sheet. So we've got cable going in there as well now. And we also need screws. And that's not a problem. But this track is going to be in the way. Right. So the plan is I have cable and copper sheets going into this freight platform. And I'll have screws going into this one, which will be added to the plastic. Now I just need to figure out where my screws come from. So all I need to do is fire it myself down a conveyor lift. These are all marked too, actually, I just realised. I hope that's over the train. There we are. Now this is the moment of truth. Will the train pick it up? Wow, that's pretty cool. I like it. Now I have the issue of sorting them, everything at the other end. Which means I'm going to have to turn off self-driving. I can't believe how much I've had to build just to make computers. I think the best way of doing this is probably by putting a buffer. Right, I'm going to delete a lot of them. Now, this is where the fun begins. So, we need a smart splitter. Now, center output for this is going to be copper. And then the right output will be cable. And now what do I mean by buffer? I mean put down some industrial storage. And this is so if it overflows, it's always got somewhere to go. I'm actually not a fan of that. I'm gonna just delete that for a moment. There we go. It looks kind of daft though. It'll do what I want it to do. Paste them settings. Center output. So all of our copper will go in here. And then we can technically kind of use this as a splitter as well, because we can... Ooh, I wonder if that's worth doing. Cut out the middleman. Okay, that's not what I expected. My only concern is that this doesn't act as a splitter, and it starts chunking them all out the bottom instead of the top. Right, so we need to do the same here. So we want the plastic going up there. That's fine. What else do we get? Plastic screws. So... Right, so I need to be very careful because this is going to start chucking them out. So we've got plastic, and then we've got screws. No, we don't want to go... Do we want to go right? I'm going to go right. We'll copy those settings, and we'll paste those settings. In fact, we should do the opposite. That way we can have screws coming down here, and screws coming down here. We'll do the same with this. So cable on the right, and then cable on the left. We'll get rid of that. This is getting a little confusing, but I kind of know what I'm doing here. There. Right. We're almost done. Now I just need to lay the manufacturer and then have everything connect to it. So we set that to computers. There we go. So the screws and plastic will be fed from underneath. I'll kind of show you what I'm doing with that. Build the walls around here and have one more floor under here. This is just going to be a very small floor, which will be designed purely for the carrying the goods from the train to my manufacturer at the other end. You can see, so we want a conveyor belt just popping down under here. It's a little messy, but it doesn't really matter when it's all the way down here, to be honest. There. So now we just got to test this. And turn on self-driving. Now if everything goes well, it should unload this train now. And the 4 components I need should unload to the correct areas.
Harvest.
I'm standing where it's going to unload, so it should move. Okay, so we can see them dropping in. Right, any minute now they should also be feeding through. So you can see the copper is all feeding through the what is this? Screws. Screws are feeding through it. They're not, it's not super fast, but it's working. We're not going to cable coming yet. Right, so that means all I have to do now is get some cable plastic. Ah, the plastic. Yes, I forgot about that. So we'll have the plastic empty into this conveyor. Now we're getting really messy. Now there's no buffer on the plastic because there's a buffer upstairs. that leaves only one product to go into it, and that is the actual circuit boards. Now before I get the circuit boards, I've hooked this up to the power. It does have power coming in. I don't know why those haven't connected properly. You can merge all three of these into one. I don't know where that hole, I've made all these circuit boards go down there, but I'm not really sure where that is. Well, that's okay, that'll work. Where I can at least make it work. There we are. So now we have a ton of circuit boards feeding in here, hopefully. Okay, I think everything's working fine now. All I can do is check. There we go, we have everything going into the computer factory. We should be putting out computers. That's going a little slow. I might have to put 2 buffers in for those. But anyway, for the moment, that's not a big issue. The moment everything's connected, and I'm going to be creating computers eventually. So that was all I wanted to accomplish. Now I just have to sit back and wait for all of the computers to get made so that I can finish up my milestones. So I'll be back when that happens. Okay, fast forward a little bit of time, and I now have 100. Yeah, I have 101 computers. So that gives me enough to get the expanded power infrastructure. I just need to nip over there. And for that, I have, in the meantime, brought over my Explorer. So I've parked it upstairs, and I'll just jump in that and head over to the... I can't remember what it's called now. The hub. Fire the computers in and hit the big red button. Finally. That must have been the longest amount of time.
Milestone reached. The fuel
in between milestones. So let's see what that gets us. The fuel generator. So that should be easy enough to build. I have all the components. I think that says it's generating 150 megawatts. Now, I'll figure that out in the next video. I'm not going to worry about that just right now. Oh, I think that was a pretty successful episode. And I appreciate everyone watching. In the next video, I will most likely be tackling sort of power generation. I need to increase my output so that I can start expanding more. And I probably have to branch out at some point because, you know, I think I've pretty much sucked this entire area dry of the resources it has. And there's a lot of other refinements I can make, but right now the focus is on finishing the final phase of the space elevator and then moving on to whatever unlocks I can get there. I actually just realised that I already added stuff to that milestone, so I only need the plastic and the copper sheeting. So I'm just going to turn that in before I go actually. 40 seconds. A little drop pod should be coming down at any moment. Where is he? There he is. Right, now we can get the next one added. I have all the resources on me. So plastic, copper sheeting. There we go. We've unlocked Pipeline Engineering Mark II. And unfortunately that's all of my tiers completed. And I need to unlock the next phase of the space elevator. That is what I'll need to focus on, I guess. But I appreciate you watching. I know these last couple of videos have been a bit laborious, and it's taken me hours upon hours to actually get a lot of this stuff done. Once again, like I say, thanks for sticking with it, and I hope you have a good day. So, catch you later.